Hey guys, and welcome to Captain Charlemagne's Models. I'm your Captain Charlemagne, so let's head over to the bench and see what we're doing for today's project. Hey guys, and welcome back to the bench. So before we get stuck in our building of the NX Refit, I'd just like to bring up two pieces of channel admin. The first is we will be continuing the Dreadnought build soon. So that will be after we finish our NX. But there's one small piece of caveat to that, and that is that we will pretty much be restarting the Dreadnought build. The reason being is I just wasn't happy with how it was coming out. I feel like I could do better. So over the course of the last few weeks since we made the video for the refit, I've been going back, I've been looking over pictures and images and completely reworking how I want the Dreadnought to come out. So that is what we're going to be doing. I've already ordered another 1 in 5/37 scale refit so that we can start doing that. Another thing is we will also be building what I like to dub the Aladdin class of starship. So the Aladdin class build that's also going to be coming is, I'm still debating it if I want to do it before or after. I'll actually put up a poll, see what you all think, if we should go with the Aladdin first or we should go with our Dreadnought. The Aladdin class is pretty much going to be a variant on the Miranda class, more specifically the USS Saratoga. So in essence, it's a Saratoga variant. There will be some changes that will be seen as the build progresses, but that's all in the future. So that's pretty much all the channel admin going on at the moment. So let's switch over to the bench and we can get started on the NX. So I'll be right back with you guys here fairly shortly. Hello and welcome back. So in the last episode of our building of the NX Refit, to be honest, I still got to come up with a name for this ship. I'm not naming her Enterprise. So in the last episode, we had drilled out pretty much some of the windows. So in the span of that time, all the windows on the two saucers sections have been done. I've also, for the lighting, as you can see here, drilled out a few of the windows in the upper hull. That was pretty much done using my drill bit. I pretty much just drilled two holes, and after that I took my X-Acto knife and I carved out those holes in it on both sides. Not all the windows have been drilled out, but that's going to be normal. I've drilled out the bottom piece here. I still got to do a little bit more drilling so that we'll be able to run our lights through it. The other thing is something I don't understand. If you look at the box art for the NX Refit, or any art, it has pretty much like the Constitution class refit, it has windows. Well, normally I believe they'd be here where my fingers are on the hull. I'm not sure if those are like an arboretum or anything, but those are missing on the model. And I was experimenting with an older kit, so a much older attempt at drilling, like here with this older version. I drilled out a small window wasn't exactly happy with that attempt. So I'm thinking just leaving those windows out of the thing. Another thing that was done is, as you can see, we've done more light blocking. The light blocking will be finished off as time goes by. And we've also added one window here, and 2 of the windows have been drilled out. So today what we are going to be doing is we are going to be adding on several more of the windows, as well as drilling them out. So give me just one moment here to try and figure out where exactly I put my instruction sheet. Because I'm looking for my instruction sheet, and my instruction sheet is right here underneath this. So move that stuff out of the way. So the piece we have here already in is part 12. So we're going to be continuing on from there. And we're going to be going in pretty much a counterclockwise position. Alright, so we need 10. Another thing is I've actually decided on the color I want to go with for this build. So as you can see, at the moment we do have it in a sort of gray color. What I want to do with it is I'm going to be using a insignia white, I believe it is, from Tamiya. And what we're going to be doing with that is we are going to be using it to paint the upper hull, upper and lower hulls. From there, we'll add detail as we go, such as some Aztecing. So, give me one moment here. It seems that the lighting outside is not particularly good, and it seems I have a light out in my studio also, which ain't good. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drilling out a few holes here. Main issue is these holes are, of course, not in total scale, but I do not have any bits that are going to be any smaller to use than what I have right now at my disposal. All right. That hole's done. Another thing to bring up, aside from this, is pretty much what I planned on doing with the dreadnought. So I'm not a particularly good drawer. If I could, I'd draw out a example of what I'm doing. I know Trek Mods, whenever he does something, sometimes he'll bring up like he's worked on the stuff. You see, like, if you've watched anything relating to Bill Krause, he'll show you 3D renderings of what he designed, as will other modelers. I'm not particularly good at either one of those, so I guess I can pretty much just speak about it. So the idea with the the Indomitable slash Dreadnought build that we're going to be redoing. In fact, I'm actually thinking about renaming it. Is that so the nacelles, as you saw with the other one, were pretty much as you see with the Constitution class. So what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm actually going to be moving the nacelles more underneath, much more similar to something like the Foley and class. All right, hold on one moment. Now we're going to need where's that other hole I want to drill out? Right here. All right. So, and the belt map class. So I'm going to be moving the nacelles to underneath the main hole. Okay. All right. So this hole is not wanting to cooperate with me today, it seems. So I can't drill that one out for some reason. Maybe if I angle this a little bit differently, what I'm trying to angle it at. So what was I saying? Oh, right. So it's going to be kind of similar to how those are undermounted. I'm thinking about adding the third nacelle where I'm normally going to put it right at the neck, but I'm thinking about maybe angling it to where the nacelle's more towards the back and putting the either how the Reliant has that mission pod at the top, putting it there, one of those on, or I'm going to, similar to how you see with like the Shangri-La, is you're going to have some forward mounted torpedo tubes right there at the front of the hull. So all of this is also still in the plan stage. I'll have all that pretty much hammered out when we get back into doing the Dreadnought. A lot of redesign and ideas started flowing into that design that I'm actually quite looking forward to doing with you all. All right, so back to this. Next we're going to need is piece 8. And well, I'll be honest, when it comes to the naming jurisdiction for this, so back onto the subject of this, I am actually, for a name, been heavily leaning towards using the name Dominion. Mainly because I just like the name and it just sounds like a battle, a kind of like a battle, a name worthy of something that's about to go into battle. Now that could just be my opinion, and others probably don't share such an opinion, but it's just something I was thinking of, and I think it does sound quite nice for a name. All right, so now we're going to repeat what we did before. We're gonna drill out this hole for some lights to come through. All right, I can see my thing right through the... All right, next we're going to need this hole here. Same thing. And I haven't punched through yet, so that's good. Just double checking to see how far I have to go with this still. Does not look like I'm gone through yet. Oh, that would explain why I hadn't gotten through yet. I accidentally drilled through the actual hole. Oops. So what we're going to do, angle this slightly up. And all I keep doing is hitting out through that. So what I'll have to do later is I'll have to remove this piece and I'll have to try and drill out through the back end of it. So what we're gonna do is, instead of attaching then drilling like I just been doing, I'm gonna have to be doing it the other method now, which I'll not deny kinda sucks a little bit. All right. So what we're going to need next for here in this corner is we are going to need part 107. So hunt that down. And that is a clear piece, so that will have to be most likely sprayed later on, so we can skip that for now. Now we'll go over here to this side of windows. And for this, we are going to need window number 9. move that out of the way just for a moment here. See if I can't focus this slightly to get a better look. All right, there's a window I can drill out. Alright. So one window there. Next we're going to bring this back over here. And I will say this about this 1 in 1000 kit. I'm not a fan of the snap fit feature to it. I think they could have done a better job, in all honesty, not making it snap fit. Because the issue I have with snap fit kits, don't get me wrong, they're nice kits. It's just that they're usually at times a pain in the butt to do anything with. All right, so now we're going to need 11. They can be a right royal pain to get evened out when you need them to be even. All right. Now back to drilling out some of the windows here. All right. Okay. That's one down. So this has to be angled. Yeah, this is gonna have to be angled. Because some of these windows do not want to just cooperate and cut the right way. So I'm not going to be able to cut that one out if it keeps fighting me. Like it is. Let's try this way. Get a hole started. That way it has something to actually bite into instead of trying to do it the other way. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to replace that window because, not window, bleh, the light in the studio, because without it, it's actually kind of harder to see what I'm having to do for smaller details. There we go. One thing about like the 1/537 scale windows and even the 1/350, at least the 1 and 5/37 scales are slightly easier to drill out, and the 1 and 350s are practically already. Ay, this does mess with your arm trying to drill out windows after a little bit. All right, one more window here. All right, and try and get to focus. There we go. As you can see, we got the windows drilled out here. That clicking is a good noise. All right. Now on there. Which is good. All right. After that, we are going to need window 13. And we're almost done with one of our sprues now. All right, get that stuff right there off. Back to the side you go. And this one only has 2 windows to drill out for us. All right. Just like that. All right. Now we can add these on. right. All right then. So the next couple things I still have to paint. So I'll have to do that later on. But before we go, I do want to make mention of something that I have planned to do. So this isn't being added on just yet. This is just me setting the upper hull onto the thing at the moment. So the plan for the future parts of this is right here where this piece goes. So this part is going to be added. However, we're not going to be installing this here, the radar array that goes right here. What we're going to be doing is, if you've seen on YouTube the videos of the CSS World Raiser or any of the Confederation starships, some of them have what looks like two of the little dishes coming out the corners here. What I plan to do is I'll add the one piece inside here, the blue piece that goes here normally, and then on the corners here I'll have those two pieces pointing out. That's going to help make her stand out a little bit more, in my opinion. Another thing that's going to be done later on outside the channel is I'm going to be making the using some clear styrene. I'm going to be making the, I believe those would be impulse thrusters, that the piece will go into here. Then for that way, so when the light shines through there after those parts are painted red, it will look like it's working. But aside from that, that's pretty much everything we are going to be doing in today's episode of the NX Refit. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today. I hope you all have a nice day. I hope you have a nice week. If you want to keep up to date with the building of the refit or the upcoming videos in the future of the Dreadnought or the Aladdin, then do please hit that bell icon to be notified of any future updates. Currently at the moment, the Aztecs for this model have been ordered, so I'm just waiting for those to come in. Once those come in, we will be adding those on. And yeah, that's pretty much everything we're doing today. I hope you all have a nice day. This has been Captain Charlemagne, and I'm signing off. Ta-ta for now, everyone.